Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kim and this is my Yarnitopia, where we talk all things yarn, both knitting and crochet, through my crafting and journey. And today's video we're going to be talking about this special ticket that I got to platform 9 3/4, as well as we are going to be wrapping up the 2023 year, looking at the projects to come. So grab your cup of whatever and let's go see what the sorting hat has to say.
There's nothing hidden in your head the sorting hat can't see. So try me on and I will tell you where you ought to be. Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, just and loyal, true. Yes, clearly, Hufflepuff.
Well, the hat has spoken, and I must say the hat is right. I am Hufflepuff to the core, and I'm so excited to share my 2024 knitting and crochet plans with you. That is because, like I said, I'm going back to Hogwarts. It has been many years since I was in the halls of Hogwarts. If you've never heard of the Harry Potter house cup on Ravelry, let me tell you all about it. So way back in 2015 or 16 is when I found out about it. I can't even remember what the first starting date was that they formed, but it is like this series of Ravelry groups, and they are Harry Potter house cups. You have to sign up to be sorted, but you can only sign up to be sorted in certain parts of the year. And I call sign up date like right as it was going live, and it's only open for a few days and then they close, and then those who entered the information get sorted and put into a house. You can kind of sway Mr. Sorting Hat a little bit to get into your desired house. I played Hufflepuff before, and that is what I got in again this time. And the way it works is you knit and crochet certain projects that are classes that the professors set up for each term. So there's a winter, a spring, I think, and a summer term. There's a lot of information about it, and to be quite honest, it's been so long that I'm kind of rusty. Like, I'm really rusty on it, but I'm gonna read through like crazy, because you cannot cast on until the first of every month. And then your project needs to be completed by the end of the month to be eligible to win imaginary points. But these imaginary points go to your house, and at the end of the year, there is a winning house. It's very much like Harry Potter. There's even little break-off games where there's Quidditch and some other things that you can participate in if you would like. And there's even long-term projects such as owls or dragons that you can sign up for, and these are like a year-long project or a several-month-long project, and you earn bonus points for them. It's so much fun. But as far as the classes, they're released on January the 1st, and there's like usually 8 classes that the professors deem for the Hogwarts students. And they all have a theme, and they have certain requirements that have to be met for you to be eligible to submit your project. My best advice would be, if you're interested in joining something like this, is to go to the Ravelry group, the main one, and I'll link it down below, and then read through the rules, because it's kind of a lot, to be quite honest with you, and it's a lot of kind of interaction in a way with Ravelry, and you have to really stay on top of your projects and keep up with your yardage and such. But it's a lot of fun. But also, if you're new, I highly suggest playing as a non-qualifying student. It means you can just kind of play along and create and get into the process of doing it, and then the next term maybe consider filling out the form and getting sorted into a house. But when I did this back in the day in 2016, 17, 18, I think I did it for like 2 or 3 years, it really motivates me to craft, and that again is what my 2024 is all about, is the yarn. I want to make all the things, and I want to work off my Ravelry queue. So I went ahead and pre-selected some projects that I'm going to be making for January. I have already pre-selected my colors as well. But going back to what I said about the Hogwarts classes, once those get posted, I may have to reevaluate my colors, because what I want to do is double dip. And that means double dipping is just the way it sounds. I'm going to double dip in the different craft alongs. So I'm doing the Things We're Making Thursday, which is a collaboration on the YouTube. And I have a video that I posted about that says slippers. It looks just like this. And then I'm doing the Hookers versus Hookers, which is another collaboration on YouTube, and I will link them down below. I am actually just participating as a fan this month, but I have signed up to be a contender on that. And I feel like I need to let them know what they're dealing with. But I am going to go ahead and make this month, which is going to be a bag. And for that, they pre-select colors, and you have to use those colors, and you cannot use any kind of variegated yarn. So it kind of makes you have to be on your toes and think how to make this work out. But I've already chosen my pattern, and I'm hoping that the colors that was pre-chosen for that, I can kind of make work for one of the Harry Potter classes, because the Harry Potter classes, they do have stipulations. They have guidelines you have to follow for each class. And usually there is like a color that can give you more points. And that's what I'm aiming for. And saying all that, there are detention, which is a class that you can kind of earn, I think, some points for detention. And those are for your whips only. All your classes have to be stuff that you started on the first of the month and that you finished that month. For the Harry Potter knit along or crochet along, it's kind of make along. And so I'm going to be working on a couple of whips as I go throughout the year with this, because I'm really wanting to do the Harry Potter thing for probably the whole year, if not next year as well, because I really need to work through some of the stash. And this is a great way for me to do so. So I did go ahead and talk about the two projects that I'm going to be making for the Things We're Making Thursday in this video. So I'm not going to be talking about those again. You can check out that video and see. But I will show you the yarn I'm going to use for the first one. And that is going to be just an acrylic yarn, because I really need to go through some acrylic. And these are going to be my first set of slippers. I love this yarn. It's a print. This is the colorway Cloudy Sea. But I chose this, one, because it has several colors in it, so I can possibly make it work for one of my Harry Potter classes. But number two, it kind of reminds me of January and winter because of the blues and the gray sky. And instead of cloudy sea, I'm thinking cloudy sky. So that is what I'm going to be using for my first slipper, which is the Recluse. And I am knitting these on a US 8, and I am going to be doing these 2 at a time. Now you may say, Kim, but you have 2 different kind of needles there. And you're right, I do. I have a metal and I have the wood. Both of these are Knitter's Pride. This is the Knitter's Pride Dreams, and I think these are actual knit picks. They may be the Knitter's Pride metal. I don't know. I've had these since like 2014. I forget. Anyways, I am doing this because even though they're 2 different materials, which usually is a huge no-no because it can seriously affect your gauge, because I'm knitting 2 at a time on 2 circular needles at the same time, but I can use them in a way that the metal, which is my preferred needle material, is my working needle. So once I pull it around, this back needle would just kind of hang, just to give an idea how it works. The wood, or the Dreams, would be what has the live stitches on it, and I will be knitting with the metal. And then when you turn, again, the wood would just have my live stitches on it. And then I would pull up this end, and then the metal would be what I'm knitting with. So I'm still going to be just making all my stitches with that metal needle. And the Knitter's Pride is basically just holding my live stitches. And that is how that's going to work. I wish I had more size 8s of these and just have all of them metal, because I'm hoping this wood doesn't grab. But my Dreams, I haven't really used them that much because I really don't like wood needles or bamboo. I'm definitely a metal needle girl. So they're still very slippery, but I don't think I've ever knit acrylic with them. So I'm curious to see if there's any grabbing on that. These are not my favorite needles, even though they're metal, and that's because for me, the tips are very blunt. They are not as sharp as I like. I like high sharp, but I only have 1 set of those. I really need to get some more of those in my favorite sizes. That might be something that I buy this year instead of yarn, because I'm really trying not to buy yarn. but I just don't really like a dull needle. If there's like some decreases and increases, but this is pretty much just garter stitch, so I don't foresee it being a problem. And this project is going to be living in my Bags by Awesome Greenie bag, and she's one of my favorite bag makers on Etsy. I've known Darlene for years, and if you've watched any of my videos, you've probably heard me speak about her and her amazing bags. Second project that I'm going to be casting on January the 1st is going to be for the Hookers versus Hookers. This is a YouTube group where they choose a podcaster or a YouTube channel. They have the two people that run it. Then they pull up a participant who is not a channel holder. They're just someone who watches YouTube videos and supports our channels. And then they pull up two different people. One chooses a pattern and a broad spectrum pattern, and the other one chooses colors of yarn. And so they have this one live, and all these people come together, and one person says what the pattern motif or theme is going to be, and the other lady says the colors that she's chosen, and then they kind of battle it out, and you have all month to make your project, and then you come back and people vote and see who wins the war. Hookers versus Hookers, and it's crochet. So this month's theme is bags, and the 4 colors that were chosen were pink, purple, blue, and gray, and it can only be solid colors. I wanted to use this as a great way for me to go through some of my scraps, because if you're like me, you have tons of it laying around, and that is what I'm doing. So for this one, because it's just going to be a bag, and my bag is going to have a specific purpose, and that is going to be to hang behind my door and hold keys when I come in. Because if not, I will come in to the yarn studio and I will lay down my keys and lose them. And I don't want to use wool because I didn't want the keys to pick at it a lot. So I'm just pulled some worsted weight acrylic scraps that I have here in my scrap bin. And this is what I've chosen. This is, I think, I love this yarn in the color Amethyst, maybe. It's this really kind of pastel-y purple, but it's really pretty. This is, I don't even know what this is. This may be some really old Red Heart that my mother-in-law gifted me. It may be called Country Rose, I think. For my blue, I found this. This is, I think I love this yarn too because it's a lot softer than most of the Red Hearts. This might be Country Blue or Sky Blue. I don't even know where I got this. This may be something else that she gave me, but I thought that they kind of worked together because of the hues of them. And then for my gray, I went traditional dark gray to kind of give some darker contrast. So these are my 4 yarns. If you watched the intro to this, you saw that I now have a tea station in my Yarnitopia, and this is my first cup of hot tea made out here. So it's pretty special. And this is a mug that I got from a Mustache Yarns kit when I made those mittens. I talked about them a while back in a video, I think one of my Vlogmas videos, but I love this mug. This is from, I think, a potter close to where Stacy of Mustache Yarns is. So that's what I'm having my hot tea in today. As far as the project for my Things We're Making Thursday group, I am making the Bramble basket. It looks just like this. This thing has been in my queue for, I don't even know how many years. It was like number 204. I have over 630 something things queued, so we're going to have a very busy 2024. I've been wanting to make this thing forever, and I think it's going to work perfectly going right behind my door. There's this little section that's like this big between the door and the bookcase, and I want to get a cute little wood knob and put it there, and that way when I come in I can just stick my keys in that basket and then I don't lose them. But I really need something for the keys, and I think this is gonna give me a functional way of holding them, use up stash, and allow me to double dip in the craft alongs. As far as my detention that I'm going to be working on this month for January, I'm going to be working slightly on my fingerless mitts, but I also want to finish up that Christmas tree. And I talked about that Christmas tree in 1 or 2 of my Vlogmas series, but that is this Christmas tree. And this is Yarn Bee Velvet smooth sparkle. And I'm really pretty far along. I can probably knock this out pretty easily. I could probably knock it out today if I actually find time to sit down and knit. But I'm using some zings for these. And these are US 7 at 4.5. And this is the sparkle yarn. So this pattern is called Something Pines. I'll put it here. And it's a pattern that I got off of Webs a few years ago. And it's a cabled pattern to make this Christmas tree. I really want to get this done because I would like to be able to put it up when I put my Christmas stuff up. I have not taken down any of the Christmas stuff in the studio or in the house, mainly because I didn't put up Christmas stuff till pretty late in the season this year. And I just really want to enjoy it. I also need to seriously clean out all the Christmas stuff that I don't use anymore. And so I started working on that yesterday, but I have to finish it up. And I am getting rid of so much stuff, and it feels so good to just purge all the things that I no longer need or use and wish them a happy new life and thank them for bringing me joy. Just kind of lightening all of our spaces. It's so refreshing. I've really been enjoying this whole purging of things. I know looking around here, when you see my videos, it looks pretty full, but I want to just put all of my crafty things out here and have none of that in the house and just make the house a lot lighter so it's less to dust, so that way I do have more time to come out here and create. So that is also something that I'm working on in 2024. Another major knit for January is definitely finishing up my mittens, and they have grown since you've last seen these. I actually am about to start doing some decreases. I have no idea where my tag is. I have no idea. It's in one of the totes I haven't gone through yet, but it's called A Hobbit Christmas, and these are Stacy from Mustache Yarns. The hank comes already separated, and once you wind it, you just start knitting at the same place and you have matchy object. I actually did a pretty good job matching mine up. However, I'm off like 4 or 5 stitches. If it was a gift, I may have ripped it out and restarted my cast on, but I honestly don't care. I think they're super adorable though. On this project, I do have one of my Simply Serving stitch markers, and this is one of the winter cups. I think it's hot chocolate, and it has little red Christmas flowers and then little marshmallows. It's so cute. The last time you saw these, they were right here, and this is how much I've done in the last few nights of knitting in bed. I'm really getting the pull of knitting again and crocheting, so I'm very excited about that. I think it's because I'm finally getting to a place where it's not so chaotic out here, and I feel like my brain can rest and focus on something else. Still have several things of yarn that I need to go through, and I still have to get the rest of my bookcases from IKEA and do a little trim work, but for the most part, and build out the fireplace. But the fireplace is a long-term thing. I'm not going to worry about it. For the most part, you know, besides the outdoor stuff that the boys and the husband will work on, I can just enjoy the space and create, and that's its whole purpose anyways. I see that I'm getting all those done, the 2 main projects and then the 2 whips, that I may go ahead and start on the other pair of slippers that I want to make for this month, and that is the heart slippers. These I spoke about in that video that I also put up about slippers. And if I see that I cannot get them done, I may not make those until February, because that would be a project that I can easily fit into a class probably for the Hogwarts craft along. So I may pick up something else, and I may pick up my Toft Flowers kit, because these can go pretty fast. This is the first one I've made. This is the flower bulbs. I bought this, I was gifted this years ago from my husband. This is the sunflower or the daisy one that I've made, and this is the little sprouts. But this kit came with 6 patterns, so I have 3 more to go. And so these are the 3 that I have to go, and I really want to get this kit completed. I may do this one next, because this one is just 2 colors, so it is something that if I need to do a project and try to squeeze it in a few days, I could possibly get this completed, and then I'll have another class to turn in for Harry Potter, and I will have another completed project that I wanted done. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up right now so I can easily access that when the time comes. Before we wrap up today's video, I want to share one more thing with you. I spoke about how I did participate in this Harry Potter Cup in the years before, and while I've been moving out here, I found that book. So I actually had purchased this, or maybe this was gifted to me from Deborah. I'm not sure. Deborah, you can let me know in the comments. I can't remember. And this is where I started keeping it with my notes. If you've been a subscriber for this channel for a while, you know that I'm all about organization and memory keeping, because those kind of things to me are near and dear to my heart. I like to look back and really cherish my time spent doing something. And so that is why I decided to keep a notebook for this house cup. And I will again use it for this season. And it looks like my first entry was in 2018. And I was, look, Hufflepuff. The first attention owl was Shawl Mitts, and that was post number 43. I did the Outlander. I did a Campfire mitts. Those are the mitts that actually came with this mug. And I did my proposal, because you have to send a proposal in when you want to do an owl or a big project, and it has to be approved. And then I go into the class ideas. So they had some classes posted, and these are the things I thought about making that month. And this is where I needed to get either the pattern or the yarn to complete those classes. My owl, I decided to do the Voyager, so that's the proposal that I sent in, and it's this really big, gorgeous shawl that's inspired by Outlander. That was a kit. I did not like the yarn that came with the kit, so I went completely out on a limb and chose my own colors, and I chose my colors based off the dresses that Claire wears in that show. And I loved how this shawl turned out, and I turned that in. And then you can see my classes for January that I actually completed, and I did the Care of Magical Beasts, and for that I made that crocheted cat that I spoke about before, Amiko. I made, for my herbology class, I made some bowl cozies. For Muggle Studies, I made a January doll, so that's one of the dolls that is actually in the bookcase behind me. For divination, I did something small, so I did a mitered square. And for detention, I finished up my citron shawl. And it was just so much fun. So this went all the way through September of 2019, I think was the last entry that I have in here. So I did this for about 2 years. And I'm going to just be picking it up where I left off and continuing on my Harry Potter adventure. I cannot wait to see what this year at Hogwarts brings for me. I'm so excited to get back into this craft along. I really, really enjoyed my time doing it in the past. I will be spending a lot of time in the Ravelry threads of the Hufflepuff. In the gardens is what it's called. Hanging out with my fellow badgers, because you know badgers don't care. And I hope you enjoy the content that comes from this fun craft along, as well as the others that I'm participating in this year. At the end of the month, I will be showing you what I completed, and in the middle of the month, I will be showing you what my process is currently on my projects and if I have completed any of them thus far. And then in the next video, I will be showing you the full advent calendar that I got this year for Christmas. It has just been so gloomy here and so cold that I have not wanted to go outside and take really nice photos of that. And I think it deserves some really great photos because it is a Harry Potter inspired advent. And I would really kind of like to do something with that. So I may look into submitting for an owl, which is the big project that takes a couple of months. And I may make a shawl or something with those minis, because how fun would that be to be using the Harry Potter yarn for the Harry Potter craft along? I don't know. We'll just have to see. Until next time, you can see me here in this video. And if not, I will catch you later on the YouTube streets. I hope you have a great week and happy crafting.